Hello.
I'm Sarah.
And I'm David, and we're here to talk about Big Brother.
That's right. Paulie wins veto.
Yep, and he's already the head of household.
So he gets to just straight up enact the plan that he originally wanted to do.
Which was to backdoor Victor.
He pulls Paul down, which was an interesting move.
But he told Paul he was going to do that, so he followed through on that.
Part of his domination.
Yes.
Manipulation thing that he was doing. Pulls him down, puts Victor up. The house has no problem voting Victor out. Bye-bye, Victor.
Bye. He might come back, though, because he's good at competitions.
He is, and boy, does the house not know that somebody from early on is coming back.
I'm so glad.
They've mentioned a few times about, like, you know, counting, like, who will be in jury, and one of them will come back.
Sure.
Let's get this person out before jury, you know, so they don't come back, that kind of thing.
I have no idea.
No idea. They are going to be in for a surprise.
Yeah. And I liked Victor's elimination interview with Julie because he was a little more humble than Jose. You know, he just seemed like there were maybe some things I would do differently if I were to go back in the house. So it would be interesting to see how his gameplay changes.
When Julie was like, you straight up told Nicole during her HOH everything. And in his face, it looked like this was the first time he was thinking about it.
Yeah.
He was like,
oh,
yeah,
you're
okay,
right.
yeah.
Yep, I see your point.
So I was like, well, okay, maybe he'll learn from that. But seriously, that was the first time you figured that out? So they do an interesting competition immediately after Victor is evicted for HOH. And it's really one of those that randomly anyone can win.
Yeah, because you're just bouncing a tennis ball off of like a trampoline and it lands where it lands. It's all based on luck. Yeah. And Bridget ends up winning it.
Bridget.
Congratulations. You're probably never going to win another competition.
Never going to win another competition. Enjoy it.
Yeah.
So she's a Big Brother fan, so she's excited, but she also knows, like, she doesn't want to tick people off.
Right.
Get blood on her hands.
And it's an interesting shift in power now because it's sort of the first time that the 8-pack isn't in control. You know, Paulie wasn't technically part of the 8-pack, but he was aligned with the 8-pack. But now we've got someone from the other side of the house.
Yeah.
As the HOH. However,
she is on Frank's team, and Frank has been buttering her up for a while. He's been working on everybody in the house.
He has.
But she's an easy one to sort of grab onto because she's just kind of like blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, her game is friendship.
She easily can be manipulated by him, and he can sort of swoop in and be like, well, this is what you should do. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, because Bridget's sort of singing the tune initially of, I'm either thinking Nicole and Corey or Tiffany, but I'm like not really sure.
Which makes sense because she hasn't been working with them.
Yeah, she doesn't know that. Right. She doesn't know where their head's at.
Right. But he changes her mind, and the whole house is very clear. When nominations are put out there, she puts Paul up, and she puts Tiffany up. Yeah. It's very clear to the house that it is legitimately Frank's HOH.
Yeah. Everyone knows, like, he's been in her ear.
Yeah.
This is not her decision. And that sort of gets back to her, because Bronte comes up to her at one point and is like, well, you know, everybody kind of knows that it was Frank. And Bridget's like, but I mean, it wasn't really just Frank. And we're all sitting at home like, yeah, it was Frank.
That's when you know someone's good at manipulating. Yeah. When they're like, no, I made this decision. And you're like, no, you didn't.
You didn't. So those two are up on the block. It's no surprise that Tiffany's there because Frank and Tiffany have sort of had it out for each other for a week or more now, so...
And Bridget's okay with that. Bridget's not close with Tiffany, so she's cool with that.
And she wants to protect Frank. Yeah. Bridget knows that Tiffany is coming after Frank, and so Bridget's like, well, I have to put up Tiffany because she's coming after my guy. Little does she know, Frank is like playing her like a puppet, you know?
Right. After the nominations, a lot of things sort of come to light for Bridget. Yeah. And first off, she hears about the whole day situation. And more comes to light about other things that Frank has done that they didn't show in the TV episode. But Frank he's seriously on everybody's radar now. Like, he has overplayed his hand to just about everybody. Yeah. He then wins BB Roadkill.
Worst case scenario.
And he puts Bronte up. This makes sense to Frank.
For Frank's game.
Makes sense to the 8-pack.
Yeah.
But Bridget does find out about that. So it starts out as Frank in Bridget's ear, and then over the next couple days it evolves into Bridget realizing what Frank is really up to, that he's not necessarily that trustworthy, and that he's against her girls.
Yeah, and she's not happy about it because she does not want to see Bronte go home under her head of household. And now at this point, now that Bridget has found out about Frank, sort of everybody in the house is anti-Frank.
Yeah.
And they're trying to figure out a way to get him out of here, but he has just crossed too many people. He's gotten way too comfortable, right? Like,
yeah.
He is touching Day inappropriately because he's too comfortable with their relationship. He's telling the whole 8-pack, basically the entire house, that he won the roadkill competition because he's too comfortable with his position in that alliance.
Right.
But he's really, like, shooting himself in the foot at this point.
Yeah. He seems like he's the target for next week.
But he's safe this week.
But
There's
he's
nothing
safe
to be
this
done.
week. But here's what they can do this week. So his target is Tiffany.
Yeah.
And he thinks the whole house is pretty much voting to get Tiffany out.
Yeah.
And if for some reason, whatever, Bronte's the next one to go.
Sure.
But because they're turning against Frank, the goal for some people in the house is to keep Tiffany so that the two of them can fight it out.
Yeah.
And get Frank out that way.
Yeah.
So that's what will be interesting to see this week, is if that is accomplished.
Right.
And if it's like, whoa, because if Tiffany doesn't get evicted this week, Frank will be on alert and he will be like, oh, things did not go the way that I had orchestrated.
Yeah,
that means something's up.
Yep, this was not my plan.
Which is dangerous.
Yes.
Because if you put Frank on alert, you may have a really hard time getting him out.
Yeah.
The best way to get him out is to secretly, slyly backdoor him.
Yeah, that's really the only way.
Without
because
him getting a hint.
He's so good at winning competitions.
Yeah.
And you can't put him up there and
Right.
like you have to backdoor him because he will win the veto competition,
Right.
you know? But you can't really tell anybody that you're going to backdoor Frank because there are still certain people like a Michelle, who maybe you think you can trust a Michelle and talk about backdooring Frank, but she's still
She seems to be in Frank's
kind
pocket.
of with
yeah.
him. You have to be so careful about who you talk about what to.
And I also just sort of question, like, even though people are on to Frank, it makes me think about last year with Vanessa. People were on to Vanessa.
The whole season,
But
pretty
as
much.
soon as they had the opportunity to get her out,
Yeah.
they came up with some sort of reason to be like, we'll get her out later.
Yeah.
Like, Frank's kind of one of those big fish that you're like, yeah, we know we can't trust him,
Right.
but like, it's okay, we don't have to get him out yet.
Because
And
he's
then
such a big target.
all of a sudden he's there at the finale, you
Yeah.
know? I don't know.
Oh, it's getting good.
It is. So what is our on the block moment?
Well, we're definitely giving on the block to Mr. Frank.
Yeah.
Because he just was too big for his britches, strutting around that house,
Yeah.
making girls cry,
Yeah.
betraying people's trust.
Yeah.
I don't really know if there's anybody, maybe Michelle, but I don't know if there's anybody who hasn't sort of figured him out, you know,
Yeah.
and like dialed in on like, oh, I see what you're doing.
And maybe Paul? Paul's so
Yeah.
oblivious. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, he overplayed his hand to everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone's on to him.
Yeah.
And he doesn't see it yet. So he absolutely gets our on the block moment this week.
And then our head of household moment.
We have to give it to Day.
Yep.
We've been saying we see a difference from last summer's day to this summer's day.
100%.
And she said it herself in Sunday's episode.
Yeah.
Because Frank is pushing some major buttons with her.
Yeah.
And I think most people would have shut him down and told him where to
Like-
put wherever.
Yeah, and like publicly, right?
Yes.
Like blown up at him in front of
Yes.
everybody, which isn't always a good game move, you know?
It's not. She recognizes it and she's trying to play this game and she's doing a darn good job of that.
Game face.
Yeah. Okay. Go into another room, cry,
Yes.
vent, do
Get it
whatever you
out.
have to do. She learned her lessons from last summer.
Yeah.
And she's just, oh, so good.
Yeah, she's there. And it's just so good to hear her say, like, I'm trying not to be Devon from last year.
Yeah.
And it's like, yes, good. You, like,
Yes.
saw the mistakes you
Yes.
made and you're trying to correct that. That is so good. So she is gunning for Frank, and it will be really satisfying if she can accomplish that, but
It
we'll
will
just
be.
have to wait and see.
I mean, I'm just excited to watch whatever she concocts as a
Yes.
plan. Like, however it goes down, I'm excited to watch Day do it.
Yeah, it's fun to see people learn from their mistakes.
Okay, we are so in love with this season of Big Brother.
We are.
What do you guys think? Who are you rooting for? Who do you want evicted? Do you
No.
think Frank's gonna actually get evicted soon, or is he gonna stick around for a
Oh
while?
boy, he might stick around. But click subscribe because we're sticking around. We'll be around next week to do it all over again.
Bye.
Bye.